make sure it's kosher. Lean on me like Bill Withers until you smell the roses. What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Subscribe or die trying. I was tired, man. I'm trying to get a second win, so forgive me. You see the thumbnail, man. The Matriarchal Fantasy or the Matriarchy Fantasy. I think one of the things about feminism is this: you, the fantasy outweighs the reality. You know, the idea of what it could be in a perfect world overshadows or outweighs what it is right now and what it has been and what it has been grown to be, right? So a lot of times it's like you hear the ladies talk about, women are powerful, we're strong, we do all things. They just do Jesus who strengthens us, right? But the way they talk about it, it's like they're sitting at a table at a council making these great decisions as a team of women with no men involved, and then not paying attention to the outcomes. Like when it ends bad, they don't remember that. Like, and the problem with the fantasy is there is no way the matriarchy can actually be good and improve at anything, because there is no I did it wrong. There is no okay, we have to not do that, instead do this. There is no I've seen this happen before and it ends bad, so we got to stop it right here and do something different. That doesn't exist. That's a problem that doesn't exist. So what you wind up having is a lot of people who, because I think about it in the parenting sense, you have generations of kids who listening to mama, auntie, grandmama, sister, it didn't work out the way that they sold it to them. And when those people say, that's not what it is. That's not good. It's like, you grown, you're on your own. This is okay. And it's like that's part of the matriarchy fantasy. The matriarch fantasy forgets that, there is no accountability in it. There is none. It's zero. None whatsoever. Because once it's wrong, who cares that it's wrong? That's a problem. Because what they do is, I'll give you what you need to do. Cool. I'll give you what you need to do, and I give you your marching orders. And if you march in the wrong direction because this is where I sent you, that's your fault. If I have you marching into a trap and you find out you're in a trap when you get there, and I knew it was possibly a trap, that's your fault. And then people go, what? And even if it is a bad situation, through the power of magical matriarchy, you can overcome anything because I'll send you good vibes. It's like, it's a fantasy. It's not gonna work well. And and at the end of the day, you can always blame a man. That's how it. At the end of the day, because of the men. So you want to be the queen want to be the king, and want to sit on the throne as the king and make the king's decisions, but but when your decisions are bad, it's the king's fault. King ain't there. Whether the king, the king could have died. You could have played the king. You could have poisoned the king. He could have been off doing king's business in another place, and he's like, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. I need you to do this, 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 and this. But you decided, hey, I'm gonna call an audible. I'm gonna do what I want to do because I think it's gonna work differently, in the hopes that it works out fine. And that's the part of the fantasy that we don't like to talk about. That the failure rate is so high that we've accepted that something bad was going to happen, so we kind of overlook that we wouldn't that it's a bad thing. Yeah, if they in charge, yeah, this is gonna go wrong. This is gonna go wrong. This is gonna go wrong. It's gonna go wrong. But it's okay. It's okay because they can fail so miserably that at one point, in this fantasy, the men are gonna come back and swoop in and fix everything that was destroyed, just like that. And what you see is where are the men? The men are not showing up because whether y'all know it or not, with the fantasy, the men have come to a conclusion that I can't help the matriarchy fantasy because even if I built it for them, they wouldn't and couldn't maintain it. Even if I gave, even if they were in the position of power to get all these things done, it would slip their minds that it has to continuously be updated. So why lend yourself to that situation, repeatedly? You're not. And that's the problem with that fantasy because we don't want to say that it's a bad fantasy because it creates a bad reality. And, we want somebody else to fix the bad reality because we don't want the matriarchs to because if they ruin a situation, it would be, how do they say, it's too much like right that they actually have to fix it. Somebody else is at fault, has to fix what they break, so it doesn't work. But tell me what you think. Like, share, subscribe, or die trying. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace.